for this question here, I want you to draw it first. And like I said, if it doesn't say that it's a right angle triangle, right? So it just says that D is 62, E is 51, F is 48. If it's saying that, and look, you can use lowercase letters to represent the side length, or you can use two letters, right? So you can say A to B. In this case, they're using the lowercase because it matches the D, E, F here, right? So they're doing that on purpose. So if it doesn't say that it's a right angle triangle, assume that it is not. So I just draw a general triangle, a general one, right? Don't make it right angle. D is 62. My longest side is 62, 51, 48. So I'm going to label this one 62, and I'll say that this is D, so this must be capital D there. Right? So the way that you draw it is important. If you draw it wrong, obviously everything will be wrong after that. Right? Then if I say that this is E, then the one opposite, this would be 51 centimeters. And then this, of course, would be my last one, so opposite F would be 48. You don't need to put the units on the diagram. Okay. Then we have DEF, okay, all done. This here, if it's not a 90 degree, you cannot use SOHCAHTOA. So no SOHCAHTOA allowed, right? So no SOHCAHTOA, don't even think about it, don't even look at it, don't even let it enter your brain. No 90 degree, no SOHCAHTOA. So since it's three sides, this is the case where sine law only works with, and you get this idea, so we're looking at, and I said last time, we're looking at holding the side with the angle. This angle holds that, so that's what I would mean by this. I don't have that. Sine law is when you have the angle and its opposite. It's the ratio of the angle and its opposite. We have no ratio of the angle and its opposite. So I know I cannot use SOHCAHTOA because there's no 90 degree. I cannot use sine law because sine law is the relationship between the angle and the opposite side, the side that it's touching or looking at, right? So it has to be cosine law. So the cosine law always goes with a squared equals b squared plus c squared. I know that there's more than one formula. I don't memorize two formulas. I do the one formula. So I always start with my longest side because I like to get rid of the biggest angle first. I'll explain why later on. We'll talk about that later. But we'll start with this one. So we go 62 squared equals 48 squared plus 51 squared. It's always plus. Then you want to remember, so my formula is this. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of A. So this cos of A matches the a squared here. This is your formula. That's the general formula for the cosine law. Okay? So it's always going to be, if I'm looking for angle D, I'm going to have the opposite side here. So these two match. So this is the side that I put here, and the angle would be D on the opposite side. So these guys here match. Okay, that's what I mean by match. They're the opposite. So it goes 48, 51. Then you have to remember it's minus 2, and then you put the 48 and the 51. And then you do cos, and then instead of A, it's the opposite, so D. Okay. So then you want to solve that. So I know that there's another formula where the D is already solved for you. Remember, we're not going to give you the formula. You can memorize two versions of the formula if you want to. I don't tend to memorize two. I just fill it all in like this, straight, and then I'll solve as I need to solve. So I'm going to bring this stuff over. So I leave this alone. I keep this one here. You can do it either way. So there's more than one way to do it. But I usually just move these guys over. Right, so I go, I'm going to keep this one steady. So I'll keep this one steady on this side. And I'm going to move the other ones over. And then I'm going to go 62 squared minus 48 squared minus 51 squared equals. And then I'm leaving all of this alone, right? So I left that alone. So I'm going to go, I'll do negative 2, 48, 51, cos D, like that. Okay. I want cos D by itself, right? So I want cos D by itself, so I divide both sides. So I do this all in one step, right? So I still haven't touched my calculator yet, and I'm going to show you on the calculator how to do it. Okay, and again, you can memorize it two ways if you want. I just hate memorizing. I'm just not good at memorizing. So I memorize one way, and then I do this. So 48, 51. So what did I do? I divided this side by exactly what was in front. You can find that number if you want. Some people do the number and find that number and then divide both sides by it. I don't. You can if you want. I just shove it all in my calculator. So not shove it all. I put it all, place it nice. So that's gone. So on my calculator, now I reach for my calculator and go, okay, I got this. And I go 62. So make sure you're in degrees, right? Remember, you can't be in another unit. This is all degrees that we're solving for today, this year. 62 squared minus 48 squared minus 51 squared. I press equals, so I finish the top. So some people write that number, negative 1,061. Again, you don't have to, right? So last class we were talking about steps, don't steps. Do I need to see? I don't need to see that, okay? And then I just go divided by, so it grabs that, negative 1,061. And then here, I put bracket, so as long as I put a bracket, I don't have to calculate it twice. Bracket, negative 2 times 48 times 51, or you can do the brackets. I just do times. Close my bracket. Equals, so I get that. Then, if you don't want to write down this step, I want the D of it, so I want the inverse. So I do it all in one go. I go second cos, and then press equals. I don't even have to press answer, equals, and it grabbed it all. So all in one go. Okay, so one more time. I went 62 squared minus 48 squared minus 51 squared. I finish the top, I press equals. Divided by bracket, negative 2 times 48 times 51, close my bracket, equals. That is not my angle. That is my cos D. If you want the angle, I do shift, right? So what I'm doing here is I would grab the whole thing and I do inverse. That gets rid of the cos. Okay, and again, you don't have to show me in the step. All I need, so yes, last class we were talking about the steps. So all I need is this step here, the formula filled in. Okay, that formula there. Then you can punch in as much as you want. You can show a few more steps. The one thing I don't want is I don't want you showing a bunch of decimal places. Like you shouldn't copy out 4 decimal places, 5 decimal places, 4 decimal places, because then you're rounding it twice. That's a lot of your work and time, and then you're going to copy wrong. So do it so that you're minimizing your work, right? So if you like this is a great way, because I keep all the decimal places on the calculator. I'm not going to copy anything wrong, and it's all right there, right? So this is nice because it's accurate, and then I get my one answer. So I punch in the top, press equals. Divided by the bottom with the bracket, press equals. Then I press second, right? So watch. Did I do that right? So I got my decimal. I go shift, so shift, cos, equals, and there's my angle. So I didn't have to round twice. I didn't have to do anything, right? And it's all done. If you want to show a step in between, you can, right? So if you want to show something in between with it, but not the rounding. So what you want to do is you want whole numbers here, and then you can show that. Okay, but you should still get, hopefully, 77 to the nearest degree is D. Yep. Oh, and sorry, make sure you put the degree symbol. Yes, sir.
But wouldn't you also round up, like, since it's 77.48, would you round that up to, like, 77.5 and round it up again?
No, that's 2 rounds. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. See how it's 77.48? You round once. So don't go 0.5 and then round it again. You do it one time. So I only look at the raw question, which is this, and I say it's 0.4. Don't 0.5, and that's a really good question. I had someone do that, I think in my grade 12 class. They rounded twice. It's like, no, you rounded 2.5, and then you round it up again. So round it, that's a good question, right? So look here at the original question, you round it once, right? And that's where rounding a couple times is going to get you the wrong answer, because then you've rounded it twice, I rounded it once, and we're getting different answers. We should get the same answer. So try it this way if you can, because it keeps your answer more accurate. right? And then you don't get into the double rounding, and you don't get into the, oh, I copied it down wrong twice and stuff, and what happened. So try to not have to write too many decimal and steps. If you're doing something different, show it to me so I can see before a test, and I can be like, okay, that's an okay number of steps, or not too many steps, or too few, something like that, right? If you think anything iffy, check before a test, all right? And I can tell you quick whether or not it's okay or not. Yes?
Can instead of numbers, we just write the formula using letters? Cosinus d will be equal to d squared minus c squared minus f squared divided by 2ef. And then straight from there, we can write that d equals to 77.
No, I don't want just the letters, yeah. Yeah, so I want to see the numbers a bit, yeah. Yeah, okay. And again, some people have it memorized, so they memorize d equals c squared minus a squared minus b squared over, right? I just can't memorize it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I always get them backwards, and I end up going back to this and going, wait, what was the formula again? So I end up going here and mentally having to bring it over, because I can't keep the negatives in which letter. It's one more thing where I'm going to forget. This I find easy, because look, that's Pythagorean theorem, a squared is b squared, c squared minus 2bc. I got that one. The other one I forget, and I end up going back to here anyway. So yes, you can memorize it if you can accurately and sub it in the other way, but this works too, okay? So you get your beautiful thing, it's nearest degree, and I want to find each angle. So we're going to find, now when you want to find the next angle, you have your choice. We can do cosine law again, or you can do sine law. So sine law or cosine law. So can use sine law or cosine law to find next angle, right? So you can use sine law, but let's practice cosine law one more time. Okay, so let's see if we can do that one more time for one more angle. Okay, so you can use sine law or cosine law to find the next angle, but let's practice cosine law one more time. So let's try for f. Okay, so let's try for f, and I'm going to do, so for f, it would be 48 squared. Are you okay? So we're going to do 48 squared equals 51 squared plus 62 squared, right? Minus 2, 51, 62, and cos and f. So it's f. So we're finding f because that's what's on the 48. All right. So bring these guys over. So I always do this 1, 2. Again, you can memorize the formula. I told you I can't memorize. I get them wrong. So 48 squared minus 51 squared minus 62 squared, right? And that's how my top will always look. Divided by, and some people go, can I just bring it under? If you basically memorize the formula, but you're doing it in steps, right? So you still have this. And they go, wait, but I know I'm going to divide by that, so I'm already kind of memorizing the formula without memory. Yes?
Why is there a 5, like 2 minus 2 times 5?
Oh, 51. Sorry, that's me. 51. 51. 51. So that matches. 2 times 51, 62. Thank you. All right, that should be 51. That's me. Okay, and then divide both sides by that. So again, that is what the formula is. So when people go, the other formula is just you solving. That's what the other formula is. It's just you've pre-solved it. And again, I can't memorize one more formula. My brain is full. So I do this. And so on your calculator, right, 48 squared minus 51 squared minus 62 squared equals, I get the top. And you don't have to write that down, so you don't have to show me that. Some people want to show the top. Divided by, and I go bracket, negative 2 times 51 times 62 equals. You get this decimal, and we want the angle, so then I go right to second cos equals, just press equals, it grabs it. There you go. Right, so you want to practice punching that in. And I got f, so then f is approximately, and I would round that to 49 degrees. How do I get my last angle? Cosine law again, sine law, or?
You can just add up the other 2 and subtract it from 180.
Yeah, just use the triangle adds to 180. So then for E, wait, which one do we have? E, so E is going to equal 180 minus the 49 and minus the 77. You don't have to show that. That's your brain, right? So then E, okay, and I want you to do a therefore. So therefore, D equals 77, F equals 49, and just fill in the E. E is 180 minus 49 minus 77, 54. I do want a concluding kind of bring all your answers together because it gets hard for me to read sometimes. And I'm like, okay, where's your answers? And I'm like, okay, I can get that. So I do always want a concluding, right, when there's multiple answers because you've got your answers all over the place here. Right. For this one, for the next one here, actually, I'm going to stop the recording.